We are live. Five, four, three, two, one. Take a deep breath. And just sleep. I hope you are doing well today. Listen, warrior, wanderer, wayfarer, wild Cadillac. Welcome to the third Monday channel. FM radio's live jive archive. Today's topic is the Y-Files, Forbidden Archaeology. Let's talk about it. Okay, so the Y-Files recently did a nice little show called Forbidden Archaeology, so make sure you check it out. Check it out, y'all. I will give you the link here in the doobly-doo. Let me see, entire screen. I guess I'm going to have to share my entire screen with you because StreamYard doesn't access things the way I like. That's okay though. So let's check this out. I'll give you guys the linkage. And we can do the talkage. It'll be fun. Yeah? Come on. Let's do it together. Why not? Here we are. Where is it? It's right there. Copy and paste, man. Ain't no thing but a chicken wing. There we have it. Forbidden Archaeology, Lost Giants of the Americas, the Smithsonian's biggest secret. So the first thing I wanted to mention about this new episode of the Y-Files is that YouTube is really exploiting the Y-Files popularity. The first time I watched through this, there were like 3 ads right up front. Couldn't skip them, really long, like 10, 15 seconds long each. And then they threw in an ad every 2 minutes. Like not every 2 minutes of content, but like every 2 minutes of me being connected to watching the Y-Files. Hey, we've got a visitor out there in Happy Land. Welcome to the show. Free gift from God. Good to see you, man. So we're talking about the Y-Files and giants. So let me show it again. Make sure everybody knows what page we're on. We'll get started just as soon as a few more folks show up, and I brew myself a hot cup of coffee. So here it is here, right here. Forbidden Archaeology, Lost Giants of America. The Smithsonian's biggest secrets. According to the show blurb, it says, in 1886, mining engineer John T. Reed was told the Patu legend of a giant people defeated by the natives near Lovelock, Nevada. The last of the giants met their fiery end deep within the bowels of a cave. Reed's belief in this legend stirred great interest in the secrets held by Lovelock Cave. Official excavations were undertaken in both 1912 and 1924 by the University of California, with reports telling of thousands of artifacts being recovered. Of these artifacts, the most puzzling were human remains that were almost human, skeletons measuring between 8 and 10 feet tall. So why aren't these amazing finds on display in any museum or taught in classes or mentioned in any history books? So what do you guys think? Put it down in the doobly-doo below in the comments section. Do you think the Smithsonian is covering stuff up? Are they conspiratorial and hiding ancient history? And if so, how much? I mean, good God, they even made a movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark, on it to expose the fact that they're pretty much, covering everything up and don't want to show nobody nothing. Ain't gonna show you nothing, Clayton, mother fathers. Why should you be able to enjoy a wonderful, fascinating, fantastical history? And you'd feel empowered, You'd be like, wow, human history has got some really interesting things in it. You might start doing research and digging into it a little bit, digging into your backyard and unearthing giant oblong skulls, or who knows what you could find, a shining trapezohedron. Yeah, let's have a look at the intro and do some commentary on it. The first comment I wanted to make is that YouTube is really exploiting everyone, man. They have got the ads in, just so many ads on the live files. Like, it seemed like almost every 2 to 3 minutes they put in a long, you couldn't click off it, just a long annoying ad for some sort of fucking crazy shit, you know? It would be like if the ads were cool and they were advertising cool stuff, I wouldn't mind it so much. But the ads they put in there are like really, really, really bad. I mean, really bad. So, guys, the time is now to get connected on other platforms like www.buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. If you ever felt like you benefit from the show, get over there, put a little tip in the tip jar. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be like Dark Side Phil, do some e-begging today. Just kidding. Free gift from God is still here. Good to see you, man. Make sure you check me out. Let's jump into this and see what it looks like. Make sure you guys give me a sound quality check. See if we can listen to this intro.
In 1886, mining engineer John T. Reed was told a Paiute legend about a race of giants. Giants who, after a long and bloody war, were defeated by the natives near Lovelock Cave, Nevada. Reed's belief in this legend stirred great interest in the secrets held within Lovelock Cave. Official excavations were undertaken in both 1912 and 1924 by the University of California.
Well, with that said right there, I want to ask you guys, have you StreamYard, have you ever done any spelunking? Have you been out into the wild and get that out of the way that blocks my dog? Have you ever done any spelunking or exploration of cavernous locations? I have. In California, we've got a lot of old coal mines and gold mines, mostly iron and coal. But we would go out and cruise around and harvest bat guano. There was one copper mine that we used to go to that was pretty cool. It went about 300 feet back. I forget exactly where it was. It was pretty popular among a lot of spelunkers, though. But it had some cave-ins and some other alternate routes, and it required some rope work, tying off and going down vast, deep chutes, like maybe 60, 80-foot chutes. We did that a little bit. We scraped up bat guano and made some like flash powder, basic stuff. A lot of fun for a young man, 12, 13, 14, doing that with Paul Shipley was the guy. He was the guy that liked to go cliff diving and spelunking. And that dude was fucking crazy. But he was in his mid-20s. And he would take out, like, we'd all jump in different people's truck, maybe make a caravan, 2 or 3 cars, and head out. Yeah, spelunking. Spelunking is going down into caves with ropes. Actually, just going into caves, I believe, is called spelunking. But Paul Shipley was our leader. He was our fearless leader. And he would get it done. He taught us all how to do spelunking. I never saw any fairies in caves, man, but I have seen them outdoors around sacred sites, and I've seen them in my garden. Gnomes, I've never seen gnomes either underground. That's wrong. I have in Tennessee. I didn't see them, but I perceived them. I had started to do some digging in the garden, and I was planning on doing underground, like root cellar, when I was younger, maybe mid-20s. And when I was doing the shovel work, I went into a deep lucid dream, and I met with some gnomes. And they told me they were legit and for real, and that if I kept digging, I would find a cavern, and they exposed to me what was down there. And they said that I was more than welcome. I was invited, in fact, to do so. That there were some crystal formations and some rare minerals, and they said that if I did finish, they didn't have much faith in me, and I ended up getting distracted, not finishing it. But it's still there, so I may do it in the future still. But they said that if I did break into that cavern by digging under my house, and if I harvested the minerals, to leave behind a couple of bottles of bourbon. They said if you leave the bourbon after taking the stuff, then they would come and get it. And so, that was a magical mission right there that I did not complete. but I should have done it. They wanted human-made bourbon in exchange for rare minerals and crystal formations. And other things, I think they said they'd leave me an artifact, like a genuine magical implement, so that I would have proof. I wasn't supposed to tell anyone. One of the things that they ask you to do is swear secrecy. It's a part of the magical interaction. For some reason, the spiritual, mystical world, they're not really that interested in being exposed or spied upon or tourists showing up. They'll help out legitimate magicians, but they do so with, like a non-disclosure agreement. And maybe it's because of the reason that I have a tendency to talk about everything I experience, that they cut me off and don't let me experience as much as I normally would. Yeah, that's the thing. So let's get into this a little bit and talk about it, because we can't just play videos directly without doing some substantial commentary. That way they don't say that we're reusing or playing with other people's stuff too much. They don't like that on YouTube. They think it's bad. Which I agree with them. You can't choose to play other people's stuff and discuss it. So So this is the Y Files. If you guys aren't familiar with it, he's got 2.3 million subs now. When I joined, he was under 1 million. Now he's over 2 million. I mean, it shows how a guy working really hard and putting together some really high quality production value videos can get it done. Plus, he's really supported by the YouTube algorithm. I think he claimed that he was repressed. And I'm like, your video dropped yesterday, you got 1 million views. What kind of repression are you under? Should you have 10 million views? I don't know. What's up with that? It seems like a lot to me. I'll play just a little more of it. How's the sound quality?
To say giants don't turn up in history books isn't exactly accurate. Many ancient cultures refer to giants. In Indian mythology or the Vedas, there was a time called the Satya Yuga, or the Golden Age, when all of humanity existed in complete harmony. Humans during this time were believed to be 32 feet tall. In the Old Testament, there are beings called the Nephilim, and they're mentioned in Genesis.
There were giants in the earth in those days.
So there you have it. Have you ever heard of these stories? Free gift from God? Make sure you check me out on Discord as well. If you're new to the channel, if this is your first time, don't let it be your last time. I don't know if that's the way to go about it. Frater Francis, I need to come up with a magical name for you. You need a magical name for the esoteric order of Dagon. What will I call you? I'll call you Brother Marsh. Is that okay? Frater Marsh, Brother Marsh. So Francis Marsh, because you're close to Innsmouth out there. So I think you're one of the Marshes. Let that be your esoteric name for now. Until you choose one of your own, a better one. Surefood can give you a name though. They like to do that. I don't know if that's the way to go about it, man. I would suggest interact with them. Not necessarily Marsh, no L, just M-A-R-S-H, Brother Marsh. You can be adopted into the Marsh family bloodline. My suggestion would be this: empower yourself and sorcerer yourself enough that you approach them as a bit of a superior, really. But I don't think it's slave is the key. I think a healthy relationship of, hey guys, leave me some hidden treasure and I'll give you some bourbon. Like when they approached me, they seem like pretty powerful entities and long noses, almost like a combination between a mole, like a star-nosed mole, but different, much more attractive than a star-nosed mole. Just a traditional mole. What does a traditional mole look like? But they look like a mole in anthropomorphic form. But I think they can shift into moles, and that would be my guess. Is that they hide out as moles most of the time? No, mole, M-O-L-E. I believe that's correct. The little creature, the burrowing creature that lives underground, but they can shapeshift. So I think if you came across one and you didn't have spiritual vision, it would just look like a mole to you. Okay, yeah, this isn't based on pop culture influence. This is based on my own spiritual research in my garden. I love to garden, man. And the fairies and gnomes and salamanders and sylphs and undines, they all trust me because they know I'm not out to expose them, and they know that I'm not out to capture them. But they're tricky little motherfuckers. They'll capture you and pull you into fairyland too. So I don't, I'm not saying that you're wrong in doing that. If you feel like that's your calling, like, I want to get out there and I wouldn't know how to go about it though, personally. They tend to be very elusive to people that have any type of malicious intent towards them. Again, my interaction has been mostly through Qigong and Taoist magic. And as I learn my Western ceremonial magic more, I might be interested in capturing one too. But I'm not at that level yet, not personally. Yeah, I'll check that out later. I don't know if I can. Can I check it out now? Let me see if I can click on that. I clicked on it, nothing happened. Maybe it'll just, I'll see, it just shows it. Yeah, see, it just shows it on the board. It doesn't let me click on it. I don't even know. Maybe I could highlight it. I don't know. I'll do it later. I don't want to destroy my live stream here. Yeah, you're right about that. People aren't out there really doing spiritual research. They're talking about shit that's been written down or shit that happened in the past. But as far as like trying to gather like minds together and do the research here in real time online and talk about it and their own personal experiences that are legit, yeah, there's not a lot of people doing that. You're right. Here's an interesting angle that another magician, an artistic magician, he doesn't even believe in anything spiritual, but he sent me this link. Let me show it to you. I don't know if you're familiar with it, with this guy. Frater Marsh. But try to remember that Frater Marsh. Because I'll sometimes refer to you that way, so we have secret names. I'm Frater Aristeas. So, well, you might not know, but you know now. But this guy, have you checked out this guy? You may have already mentioned him, but I never saw this video before, man. Let me click the thumbs up on it. It's really good.
Right. Fuck, man. I'll tell you, when I was a kid, I read Robert Anton Wilson and all this shit. Here we are, we're standing here, we're talking this shit, and it's real. Okay, I'm pissed. And in half an hour, I'm going to come up on drop.
Did you notice what he said? The first thing he said is, when I was a kid, I read Robert Anton Wilson and all that shit. Now here I am up on stage talking about it. Have you seen this guy before now? This might have been one of your suggestions that I overlooked.
Bucks to watch for it.
This guy's fucking awesome, man. So funny.
I guess, I don't know, is there any practicing magicians in the audience? Put your hand up if you got any.
Right here, brother.
Yeah. Come on, bold.
Oh, yeah.
A few. Okay, by the time we finish this, you're all going to be practicing magicians.
So if you haven't checked that out, bro, haven't seen it, yeah, get in there and watch it. He gives a good basic rundown of how magic works. His name is Grant Morrison. Morris. You can see here I've been researching him. Grant Morrison, Scottish comic book writer, screenwriter, and producer, known for nonlinear narratives, worked on Green Lantern, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Was born in Glasgow, Scotland. Doesn't say anything about his magical proclivities, though. This is just a whitewashed page on him. There's literally nothing in here. And he starts off his little talk here. He's drunk and the drugs are kicking in. And he's talking about Wilson and the guy of talismanic magic, the originator. Forget his name. He's got an obscure name. What's the guy's name that started it all? I forget. Anyway, I'll put the link in here for you because you'll enjoy it, man. It's a really good video. Looked like he did, yeah. Looks like he did work with the guy from Vendetta. You can see that from the coloration, like the setup. Let me see. Wonder Woman, New X-Men. I'm not sure, man. I'm looking over it, but I believe I did see that. Was that guy also into Chaos Magic? Lewis Carroll. Ryan Hughes, Dan Dare. I mean, there's so much. Psychic Youth. He's worked with Psychic Youth. I don't know if he's the guy that did the Psychic Youth. Let me see. What did he do with Psychic Youth? It does say a little bit about his magic. See, no, it doesn't. Just it talks about it in comic book form. Tapping into premillennial tension, the work was influenced by writings of Robert Anton Wilson, Aleister Crowley, William Burroughs, and Morris's practice of chaos magic in The Temple of Psychic Youth. In 1998, Morris published the prose piece, I'm a Policeman. See, and then it deviates. That's the only mention it gives of it. And then it mentions very briefly, while concentrating on a magical symbol or sigil in an effort to boost sales, Morrison's Invisibles went wildly popular. And they made a movie from it, The Invisibles. So yeah, he's a chaos magician now. Pretty cool. Never mind, they had a fuse, but Alan Moore is a similar guy, comic book magic guy as well. Okay. When you asked me about gnomes, I actually wrote my own comic book about gnomes and my interaction with the gnomes. It was called Swirly, the Sage Who Swirls About. And it was done just in line art because I didn't know much about comic stuff at the time. I mean, I read comic books all my life, of course. But from the lucid dreams that I had, I wrote them all down in comic book form about me pursuing the treasures of the gnomes. And I went down into their caverns and interacted with them, made sacrifice to them and stuff, and they taught me a bunch of shit. And I hung out underground for a while. And it was called Swirly, the Sage Who Swirls About. I'm busy right now. Can you give me a few minutes? What's up? Or did you have some pressing affair? Okay, that's not appropriate, right? I'm talking to a friend online. Yeah, I got a little bit of a late start today, so folks are starting to get up now. Kind of a bummer. I was hoping to go a little longer than 30 minutes. I was hoping for an hour, but it looks like life is going to interrupt everything. So let's get back into this video a little bit. That way I can.
And also after that, when sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown.
One interpretation of this suggests that the sons of God were giant fallen angels who seduced human women, and their offspring were the Nephilim.
Well, how does a giant seduce a human woman? Oh, right.
Giants show up quite a bit in the Book of Enoch, one of the religious texts found among the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Giants, huh? I don't know how much they're going to help us, but this guy is definitely going to help you.
This shit's easy, right? I'm like you. Basically, why are we here? What's this all about? And by the way, this is a Scottish accent. So, reset the filters and pretend it's Sean Connery talking to you, okay? 007.
Shevin.
So if you can follow me, I'm just going to talk the way I talk, and fuck you if you don't understand. The deal is this. I've been writing this comic for the last 6 years, and the weird thing was, like you, like everyone here, we're trying to figure what's going on. Why do we feel different?
So yeah, definitely check him out, man. Kind of a fun little talk. He's kind of loaded when he gets it, but there's nothing wrong with that. Good man. Good man. Yeah, it looks like I've got to attend to business, guys, though, so I'm gonna have to reschedule for later. I think if the wife and kids have some classes today, so if they get out of the way, maybe I'll get myself a shower, put on the old magic robe, and come back and give it a second go. I appreciate you tuning in to say hello, and make sure you guys check it out. Check out the Y files; he's good fun. Again, I don't know of any benefit that it'll really be, but go and watch Grant Morris's video. It's called Grant Morrison on Chaos Magic, the Occult and Sigil Creation. So it's a worthwhile endeavor. It's good fun. He talks about Austin Osman Spare's method for sigil magic, which again I had a long discussion, like almost an hour-long discussion with another magician who's a hard-working artist here in Beijing. He just got married, and his brother passed away. Shout out to you, man. Condolences, brother, if you do see this video. But I wanted to connect with him because he was feeling low and feeling lonely. And I went through that like 3 years ago. So I thought that I might have some valuable insight into dealing with grief. But we had a good long conversation, man. And I thought it should have been an interview for him, but he's a private guy and he doesn't want to do anything on the internet. And he just wanted to speak with me privately. So we did that. Which it seems like when the camera's not on, bigger magic happens. Like you can try to have intellectual and spiritual conversations about things, but when you're recording them, there's kind of a sense of that quantum physics effect of the observer effect, that everything kind of changes. The wave file collapses. You don't get the real magic that way. But if you just if you connect directly, like over a video call or an audio call, you have a lot more fun and you make a lot more progress. Guys, signing off, I want to remind you to check me out on www. There's the link there. You can see that because the time is now, man. We stay connected and these platforms won't really allow for it. I hope you're having fun with the 100-day magical challenge, hypnoapotheosis. And if you want to learn more about that, then just connect with us on the Lunar Light Discord. You can find the link on the About section of my page. Yeah. With all that said, if it was your first time, don't let it be your last time. Come back often for updates on the 100-day magical challenge. Keep doing good magic. Good to see you. Shout out to Brother Marsh in Innsmouth. I don't know what a hand pink waving is. What's a hand pink waving? Can you explain that to me before I bail out? I don't get it. What is that? I want to learn something new. Maybe Brother Marsh already bailed out. I love y'all, really good sex people. Stay well out in Happy Land. This is the man who made it all happen back in the early days, Austin Osman Spare, S-P-A-R-E. I believe you misspelled that. Please hit the thumbs up, everyone. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Let me know if you've ever done sigils, sigil magic of any kind, and whether or not it was effective for you as well. So those will wander into the books of the future. Keep doing good magic at Astro Prosper.